For Chicago Live.
Take care. Welcome to Good Morning
Friday. We have plenty of conversations coming up between 1 and 4 p.m. here online. I'm your host, Anita Blanton. I'll be with you throughout the entire thing. So let's just talk about what we're looking at, what we anticipate for this first hour that we have here together. We're going to get into a discussion about the Alley, Chicago's iconic punk retail shop, celebrating 50 years. They're going to do it in a very special way, as you would expect for a punk rock store. And so we're going to talk to them about this special moment for them, what it means for the neighborhood, for the city, and how they are going to be celebrating coming up here this weekend on Sunday. That's coming up around 1:45. Also, with all of the things we have seen youth unfortunately getting into in the last several weeks. I mean, obviously nothing that we've talked about is new, but at the same time, it just gets all of us thinking about what more can be done to intercept, to pour in positivity into young people at an early age before they get to some of the things that we've seen play out that end up on the news. Well, one thing in Bolingbrook that they're doing is a youth police academy. And we're going to be talking with Captain Mitchum from the Bolingbrook Police Department about this first ever youth police academy that kicked off last Monday. Really looking forward to that discussion to see what they're doing and what they're hoping for youth in having this program that starts for kids as young as 10. It's from ages 10 to 14. Now, some people would say as young as 10, and I would counter, we have had several 10-year-old carjackers. 10-year-old carjackers. So starting very young and again pouring into them positivity instead of the negative things that some people would pour into a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old to help them be better, do better in the years to come. I think this is a great opportunity, and we're going to get into the details of this coming up around 1:30. Also, we're going to check in with our very own Casey Cronus around 1:15 or so. She's in Bridgeview today. My goodness. I mean, it is gorgeous outside today, and it's as if nothing ever happened if you're just looking up at the sky today. But if you were anywhere in Chicagoland, anywhere in Northwest Indiana last night, and really over the last 2 days, you know that we have been through it, and some people have been through more than others. And so there are folks who are now at the 48-hour mark without power. We're going to be talking with Casey about that being the case for many people throughout our area, and the operation that's going on now to get hundreds of thousands of people back online. And if you think about, today the temperature isn't too bad. That was one positive that came from the storms, is that kind of knocked out a lot of the humidity that we had the last few days. But at the same time, it's not cool either. So being in your home and how hot that could get very quickly, and your food spoiling very quickly. We're going to talk about all of those things, and again, the operation that's happening. We're so grateful for all of our workers that are out either trying to clear trees or trying to help pick up debris or to get people back online with their power, all of those things that are happening right now. And again, she's in Bridgeview, but we're going to start our discussion about the things that are happening in Merrillville. I remember watching our meteorologists as they started to speak specifically about Merrillville last night. And so we're glad to have a spokesperson from Merrillville, Chaz Riley, who is joining us now. Thank you so much for your time in the midst of, I know, a lot going on.
Yeah, happy to be here and to answer any questions about what we have going on. It's been pretty devastating out here. I lived in Maryville, moved out here at a young age, and I don't remember anything quite like this going on in the town since I've been around it in some way, shape, or form. So it's been pretty devastating for the community, and very interesting how hit some areas really hard, and some areas it looked like there wasn't anything that happened.
Yeah, and that is the mystifying almost element of this kind of severe weather, tornadoes and high winds, straight line winds, all of those things. Sometimes how you can have one structure on one side of a street that's fully intact. It doesn't look like anything happened, and right across you just have pieces of a structure left behind. Walk me through the hours last night. As I said, I was watching, our meteorologists as they start to say, hey, head for cover, take cover right now, and they're talking about Merrillville. Walk me through like how things really devolved.
Yeah, so as soon as reports started coming in that it was going to get bad, that we had possible tornado that could hit that area, we put out alerts right away, especially through our police department, through social media, to alert residents. And once the devastation happened, the crews immediately got into action and started setting up a command center in some of the hardest, or in the hardest hit area, and that brought in so many different first responders from all sorts of communities, not just here in Northwest Indiana, but into Illinois. We had so many that came out to help us to assist in assessing the damage and seeing everything. And right now, we have more than 200 buildings that have sustained some sort of damage from last night, and some completely destroyed, some not as bad as others. But yeah, it's quite astonishing.
And as you are, I always feel like there's the moments of danger when you don't know what is about to happen, and then there is the light of day that is heartbreaking a lot of times. Tell me how you felt when you started to see things up close as the morning came.
It was emotional. Like I said, to be around this community for so long, to see this devastation, especially in areas like Andrean High School, which is a big beloved area. It was very emotional and heartbreaking to see, but to see the community out helping each other, that really was touching. That residents, as soon as they got word of different things happening, how can I help? Where can I go? What can I do? I have a chainsaw. I have a generator. Who needs it? And so while it was, very emotional and heartbreaking to see, how bad the devastation was, to see that assistance, that good nature come out immediately out of our community, was very heartwarming.
Yeah, and let's just say somebody's not really familiar with Merrillville. I remember coming out to do a story in Merrillville with some great entrepreneurs that were like, opening up a new business out there. And what I remember is that there was a lot of open land, but at the same time, there was a lot of very new development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Maryville is a quite unique mix of, we do have large open areas, agricultural areas, lots of industrial areas as well, and then some very old homes, beautiful old homes, as well as lots of new great development, new residential development coming in. So it is quite a mixture of things here, and that diversity of just the community like that, but then also just the people, the diversity of the people is what makes this community very special.
Yeah, and when you're doing the damage assessments, I know you mentioned a high school. I mean, what were some of the other hardest hit parts of town?
It was primarily in our northern area, so around 57th Avenue and Cleveland Street. The Bon Air subdivision was hit pretty bad, and that's an older subdivision with lots of beautiful homes, a great community over there that had lots of devastation. And then it crossed a bit over by that area, like I was mentioning, with the high school, which is more towards Broadway. So yeah, it hit primarily up in those northern areas. It seemed like that's where what was the worst hit areas.
And so while it's super beautiful to see people coming out to help each other, not just beautiful, it's really important to see people helping each other. Tell me about the day in terms of the mobilization from the city standpoint. What were the priorities, and how? What does manpower even look like?
Yeah, it's been, we could definitely we're getting tons of assistance from neighboring communities since they didn't have nearly as much damage as we did. So the city of Gary, the city of Crown Point, the city of Hobart, our Lake County government, they have all really stepped up to send their street department crews to help our street department to clear these roads, because there are roads that are still, you can't pass, power lines that were still down this morning, and so that has been a big priority, is clearing those roads, making those roads passable, getting the debris out of there. And we're incredibly thankful to our neighboring communities and the county to step up to make sure that we're getting that assistance to help out our residents, help out the community.
Yeah, it's Friday, and it's a beautiful day. As I was saying as we started the show, how much or how grateful you are to see the weather at least hold for today, knowing that there's a possibility for more storms tomorrow?
Yeah, we're definitely thankful for that today. That does help out a lot to get the work done. It's, as you know, doing anything with bad weather just makes it that much harder. But especially for something like this, you need to be able to get as much done while you can. So we're definitely utilizing that good weather, and thankful for it right now to be able to assist and help out as much as we can, and take full advantage of using this good weather to cleaning up as much as possible.
Yeah. Any concerns after the last couple of days, how things have played out? Any concerns or feelings about, okay, let's do something different in the future? I mean, if there's one thing, I haven't heard anything about any loss of life, which is, a wonderful thing. But are there some concerns or things that you all want to kind of tighten up moving forward?
I mean, we'll always look at different ways of improving, and I think that'll come as time moves on, to look at our the way that we responded, how we implemented our disaster plan, and to see what ways we can do things better. It's always important to get out as much information as possible to our residents, and I am always looking for ways to enhance that. So that will be a priority for me, is how can I reach them quicker, to let them know, whether it be a disaster like this or anything else, but when they need that information, to get that out to them as quickly as possible, and making sure that our department heads and everybody else is on the same page, that we could get that information out and let them know, so they have it, and that can help them during a situation like this.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the beginning of severe weather season really for our area, so anytime at the very least that there's no loss of life, there can be opportunities to just continue to do better, to keep that running of a running total of zero when you have situations like this. Although it's very unfortunate when people lose items, you can rebuild, you can regain, but you can't get a life back. So thank you so much again for your time here with us. I'm so sorry it's under these circumstances. Is there a message that you would want people to hear right now? That if there's someone in Merrillville that maybe doesn't see you personally, but a message that you would want them to hear from the town of Merrillville, from your standpoint?
First and foremost, we're thinking about all our residents, and if they need anything from us, they can reach out to us at any time. Right now, my big message is, if you need help, call the Red Cross, call the Ross Township Trustee's office. If they don't have the services that you're looking for, they could direct you where to go, but you could also call our office anytime, and we are ready to assist and help, and we are thinking about you. And I just want to help our community recover from this any way that we can.
Thank you so much again for joining us here today, and my best to you all as you start the beginning of this cleanup process.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And if you need anything else from us, we're happy to reach out.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. It's about 1:15, and so we checked in there in Merrillville. I mean, they're really going through it right now, and as you heard there from the spokesperson, have not seen something like this in many, many years. A night that we had, and again, this is like night 2 for many people of strong storms. If you were with us yesterday, even listening to meteorologist J.D. Rudd, he talked about the fact he was pretty sure that yesterday's storms would be worse than Wednesday's storms. And already a lot of people had damage from the straight line winds on Wednesday. So you follow that right back up with actual tornadoes and strong winds. And people have really just had it with this week. I mean, it's been a lot. But I keyed in on the fact that we're kind of in a window of time before things shift yet again. So there's a lot of work to be done in a small window of time before we could have more storms. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to bring in our Casey Cronus from Merrillville. We're going to now head over to Bridgeview and check in there. Welcome back, everyone. 1:18 right now. We just had a conversation about storm damage in Merrillville, Indiana, and the cleanup effort that's now underway. And for sure, I mean, there are several different areas that are all kind of experiencing that moment of, taking a breath, but now a major operations that have to happen to get back to some semblance of normalcy. And so we're going to go to the area around Bridgeview now, and more specifically, we find Casey Cronus in Justice. You know, last night, Casey, of course, we had our team of meteorologists walking everyone through those life-threatening moments, and now we have team coverage looking at the incredible damage left behind.
That's right, the damage, the cleanup, and the process to rebuild. We just got on the ground in the Bridgeview area, and we stumbled upon a billboard. I want to show you a look at it right away. It completely toppled over with its support beam snapped in half. This is in Justice, just off of I-294, close to the intersection of 87th and Roberts Road. Now, thankfully, Anita, this happened on the property of a closed enclosed apartment building. So it is completely vacant. It has been shut down. No one has lived here for quite some time. And boy, are we grateful for that today, because you can see this billboard just completely covered at least 2 of the units here. Just really scary. And thankfully, no one was in this parking lot. No one was in this building. But you can imagine just how fast those winds had to be going to knock this down. And if you can look at that support beam, how it just totally snapped. Thankfully, it didn't go the opposite direction onto the expressway. You know, perhaps there would have been enough clearance for it to land in between that support beam and the expressway wall, but you just never know. And so thankfully, it didn't go the other way. I'll step out of the way here this way so you can see now this apartment building. It's, you know, it almost looks like a motel. It's about that size, but we did confirm it previously was an apartment building. So this is just a glimpse at the damage out here in this area, Anita, and we are just getting on the ground, so we will continue to look for much more, but we did also see a ComEd crew on the ground to update you on those numbers. There are about 131,000 ComEd customers still without power. That is now a combination of customers that lost power Wednesday night, but also another set that lost power last night. We were originally told by ComEd that their target to get everyone back up to speed and online was tomorrow, Saturday at 11 p.m. That might be a little bit delayed now because we have had additional customers that joined that outage map last night.
Yeah, I mean, again, hats off to all of the workers that I know are doing a wonderful job trying to get everybody back online just as quickly as possible. But it does seem like even their work has been complicated with one round of storms after another. And even if you got one neighborhood back on, you probably had 3 to 5 more that went offline quickly after that with the next round of storms. For sure, last night was way worse than the night before.
Absolutely. And yesterday, the ComEd officials that we spoke with said that they were fully prepared to potentially return to some of the exact same neighborhoods that they had already restored. And that's just how it goes in double rounds like this when you get hit back to back. They may fix one outage and have to return the next day if it gets wiped out again. So they certainly have their work cut out for them. Officials with ComEd yesterday told us that they had another 1,000 crew members on the way from other cities to help out, bringing the total number of field workers up to about 3,000 people.
Wow. We appreciate those efforts. And I'm sure when I say we, I mean, we appreciate being able to see it. But for the folks that they are getting to, I'm sure hearing that warms their hearts just a bit. But I would wonder, how hot homes are getting. I mean, we're getting a bit of a break in terms of the temperatures and the humidity, but still not having AC right now. I would wonder how hot people are getting in their homes without AC.
It's tough. It's tough for a lot of people, especially elderly residents, and officials are encouraging everyone to check on your elderly neighbors, check on those senior citizens in your life, because this can be very dangerous given just how hot it is. Thankfully, as you mentioned, the humidity has let up a little bit today, and we do have quite a breeze. We just talked to a woman who stopped by because she noticed this and she wanted to see this for herself, so she pulled in the lot and she actually did an interview with us. So you'll hear from her later at 4 and 5 p.m. today, but they have been without power since yesterday afternoon. She said they opened their windows overnight, but they were actually on their way right now to get bags of ice and coolers. Hopefully the stores are not out, and they were going to try to take some of their meat, some of their items out of the refrigerator and try to salvage as much as they can.
Yeah, and you think about the cost of all of those things right now and how, that's been a struggle for people anyway. And then you add in, like, maybe you just got groceries and you put them in and now you're going through this, how difficult that is. So I remember you being at the press conference yesterday with ComEd. Was that Palos Heights?
It was. It was Palos Heights. And You know, something that was really striking was that the official who spoke, he said that, you know, in some pockets, the damage was so extensive that this isn't just a restoration effort, it is a rebuild effort because trees toppled over some of their infrastructure. This isn't just about repairing downed lines. In some cases, they have to get in and completely reinstall utility poles. So in some areas, they are asking people for a little bit of extra patience as they work through rebuilding parts of the system. But back to those groceries, Anita, you know, we are all struggling with how expensive everything is, and that goes for groceries too. We do want to share with our viewers that ComEd does have a damage form online. So we will have more information about this in our report at 4 and 5 p.m. While they don't automatically reimburse for groceries, there have been cases where when folks do fill out a damage inquiry form and they put their losses, which might include what's in their refrigerator, a reimbursement is possible. So we'll have more details about that in our later reports. But you know, every little bit counts.
Every little bit counts. I'm hearing you say possible, but then you're saying there's a chance. So, yeah, maybe people can, you know, take advantage of that for sure. Now, the area that you're standing in, is that the worst that you have seen thus far today?
So we have just gotten out here. So this is actually the first thing that we noticed when we were heading this way, just doing kind of our preliminary survey, our preliminary loop around the area. We do see just down the street to my right, your left, quite a bit of damage. I don't think you'd be able to see it from this vantage point, but when we walked over closer to the building and I peeked down that street, 86th Street, trees are all over the road. So after this, we are going to pack up the car and we're going to head over and check out that block and see what folks are dealing with there.
And as I was saying with the spokesperson from Merrillville, you know, we're early in the season. I mean, April was an active month, but May was fairly quiet in terms of severe weather. And here we are in June now, things are really kicking up. I would wonder, you know, people's thoughts on, like, if you do have to rebuild versus repair, how you're thinking, where your mentality is, be it that we're at the beginning of severe weather season.
Absolutely. And the ComEd official yesterday, David Perez, he was talking about how they are bracing themselves for another very busy season this summer of extreme weather. He said that in recent years, they have really bolstered up their systems to help support in severe weather like this. They have a grid pattern that they work off of, which he said has really helped in the restoration efforts. So while they are making headway in the overall system, though, there are, of course, setbacks in situations like this. So ComEd is preparing, homeowners too are preparing. We've chatted with several people yesterday who said they got generators last summer, and that has kind of kept them. They've been, you know, held over with their generators. So we're hearing a lot more people are kind of taking extra measures, extra steps for those just in case supplies.
Yeah, I mean, it's learning lessons at the very least, you know, for the next episode. Whenever you go through something, and at the very least you have your life, it's a learning lesson for, okay, what can we do to make sure we're prepared when the worst does strike our area. So thank you so much for giving us the view from Justice. Again, I know you're going to be collecting more information, more interviews, hearing those stories, and our hearts go out to all of those folks, whether it's power being out for days on end or damage that now you have to spend your time trying to figure out. It's all quite a bit on people's lives. So thank you.
You're so welcome. And really quick, Anita, I just want to mention too that for folks who are having trouble cooling off, really tap into your local resources, the library, the police station. Many of these communities, if not all, are setting up cooling centers on days like today where folks don't have AC in their homes. So really encourage people to tap into those resources. And one thing that we've seen, though, yesterday and today, neighbors really coming together to step up for one another.
Absolutely. Check on your seniors, check on the neighbor that you don't even know, that maybe you haven't met yet. This is a good time to just check in on them. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Anita.
Okay, you all be safe. Take care. We'll see you on 4 and 5 o'clock. It's about 1:30, everyone. So give us a couple of minutes before we get into our next discussion here. We're going to transition. Obviously, the weather is our big story of the day. Don't want to sugarcoat that at all. I mean, there are a lot of people who are going through a lot right now, and so we'll have pieces of coverage throughout our time here with you as we check in with our teams, check in with our meteorologists, to find out, one, what all we just went through. I mean, especially when the meteorologist comes up. Some of the data coming out today is pretty astounding, at least from the vantage point of someone who's not a meteorologist. The fact that we already know that there was an EF3. I mean, that's tornadoes reaching 136 to 165 miles per hour. You just don't hear about EF3s in our area very often. So we'll talk about, the conditions that we had that made it ripe for something like this, and their thoughts on the night that we had, and also, again, where we go from here with more storms, at the very least, that are anticipated for the weekend. Stand by. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. It's about 1:33 right now, and from learning new skills to working alongside officers, there's a group of young people in our area that are getting a pretty unique experience. In fact, they will go down as the first ever Bolingbrook Youth Police Academy participants. And so I want to bring in Captain Jason Mitchum from the Bolingbrook Police Department to talk to us about this opportunity and the impetus behind it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's just talk about the why here. I mean, what got the conversation going to say this is something that was needed?
It's the mission of the Bolingbrook Police Department to engage with the community in a very high fashion. We like to build bridges within our community. And I thought, why not do it with the youth? So we established a youth police academy for children ages 10 to 14. And it was a necessity because it gave us the opportunity to engage with these children in ways that they've never engaged with the police before.
Mm-hmm. Talk about that. I mean, there's such a difference in people only experiencing police from a negative lens or when something is wrong to engaging with them when things are positive and an opportunity to glean things from each other is had?
Most children see us in one of the worst situations they can ever be in. It's usually a call for service. So the police respond to residents because they need our help. This gave us an opportunity to interact with these children in a way that could show them that we are people also. We have sons, we have daughters, we have mothers, we have fathers. We have life experiences that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that doesn't involve police work. It gave them a chance to show them our personality, show them the type of people that we are, not just in the police capacity. Mm-hmm. It allowed them to see us as people and as mentors and as friends. So that was an extremely important dynamic of this program, is to show the youth that we are people, that we are here to help them, we are here to assist them, we are here to be there for them on their worst day, but we're also here to be for them on their best day. Mm-hmm. We're here to show them what the police department has to offer besides just the tragedies and the response for service. We're also here to mentor. We're also here to consult. We're also here to be a shoulder to cry on at times. We're also here to have fun with you. We're also here to just engage with you in ways that, is not normal for police.
Yeah, and all of those things are super important in normalizing seeing first responders as humans. And
Yes.
Would you agree? I mean, that pays dividends years later.
I would hope so. I think this program really established a rapport within the 24 young people that we had in it. We saw growth from day one until graduation day, which was today. So the youth graduated today, and the way that they just excelled and they progressed throughout this 2-week program was amazing to us.
So 2 weeks, talk to me about what they were involved in during that time.
2 weeks. So they started off, they came in, we have roll call. So we line them up, take attendance, have a brief discussion about what the day is going to look like. Then we start physical fitness, PT, what we call it. The kids ran, they did obstacle courses, push-ups, sit and reach, a lot of different activities to get their body moving. Because when you join a police academy to become a police officer, physical fitness is a giant part of that. After that, we would usually have a small discussion before lunch. And after lunch, we would get into more specific police designed activities, whether it be them working with the K-9 division, whether it be them learning how to package evidence or collect evidence. We had a session with them in our traffic unit. We had a session with them flying our drones. I mean, we did everything that we could possibly think of to open their eyes to what we do on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, yes, there's rapport, but it could also end up in recruitment.
Absolutely. That's what we hope. We hope that some of these children grow up and say, hey, I liked what I learned. I implemented that in my life, and maybe I can make a difference in the community.
Mm-hmm. How hard is recruitment these days? I mean, this is an interesting way of approaching it, with just kids learning more about the many different ways that they could serve the community in uniform. But yeah, I mean, it could pay off from that standpoint as well later on. So how hard is recruitment?
Recruitment has become more difficult in these past few years. When I applied, there are approximately 400 candidates. Our most recent application process, I believe we had approximately 115 to 120.
Wow.
So recruitment is low. And this gives us an opportunity to interact with children at a younger age so they can actually see that police officers aren't just here to go out and arrest people or write tickets. We're here to service our community. We're here to build relationships within our community, and we're here to cherish and nurture our community.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the age involved here, that 10 to 14 time period, why you chose that group. And as I was saying earlier, we have reported on 10-year-old carjackers. So I think this is perfect, honestly, from a standpoint of if you could pour something negative into the mind of a 10-year-old, you can certainly take that same time period to pour in positivity.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Having the age from 10 to 14, that gave us the opportunity to slightly mold those kids. They're still impressionable at 10 to 14. Next year, we hope to do 15 to 17 also. So we want to do the 10 to 14 and 15 to 17. But when you get them between the ages of 10 and 14, they're still impressionable. You can still have an impact in their life, even if it's only 2 weeks. You plant a seed that can grow in a child from the age of 10 to 14, that seed can blossom throughout their entire life.
And I would wonder, were the parents believers in the beginning too, to have their kids be involved in this? Or did you change the minds of some parents along the way too?
I think that most of the parents had a 100% buy-in. There were a few that were like, this might just be a day camp. I bet their kids came home and told them it's not just a day camp, Mom and Dad. We are running, we are structured, there's discipline, there's consequences for actions. So there was a lot of learning curve. I think that they thought this was just going to be a fun time. No, it wasn't just a fun time. A lot of the kids were like, oh no, here comes Captain Mitchell. Because they knew if I show up and they're talking out of turn, they're saying something smart, we're running laps. So, there were consequences for certain actions. And I believe that was a major part of this program, is to show these kids that there are consequences for your actions. Whether it's a small action or a large action, there's going to be some type of consequence. After the consequence was implemented, there was always positive reinforcement after to show the cadets that, just because you had to run, or just because you got in a little bit of trouble at times, that doesn't mean that, you're off the team. No, there's positive reinforcement. Hey, this is why you had to run. Let's get it better. Let's keep it moving. Keep your head up. You can do better. So I just believe that this program gave the kids an opportunity to learn themselves, for one, to push themselves for two, and to become better.
And in terms of the makeup of the kids that were involved, the youth that were involved in this, how did the word get put out for them to be involved? And were there some kids that maybe have had a run-in that wasn't positive before, that were involved, that could now see police in a different light?
Well, this was a village-wide effort. The entire village bought into this program. This is all Village of Bolingbrook's a giant team. It's a giant team. So an idea was brought up, and it was embraced. The selection process was done via advertisement for our electronic boards and emails and Facebook posts. Once we got the first 25 candidates in, we cut it off. We did backgrounds on the first 25 candidates. We made sure that everything was okay, and we had to cut it off because we had a lot more than 25 that applied.
Well, that's a wonderful problem to have right out the gate, for this to be the first time. And when we're talking about things that, clearly give you all an opportunity to build on, what are some of the things you all hope to do in the future to advance this?
Like I said, we want to do the 10 to 14 again. We also want to do 15 to 17 in the age bracket. The 15 to 17-year-old police academy would be a lot more strenuous than the 10 to 14-year-old police academy. I would like them to be a little bit longer throughout the day. That's something I have to go over with my team, because my team put all this together. They were brought an idea, they took the idea and they ran with it. They made the curriculum, they did the PT, they helped get sponsors for meals. They did everything. So I just want to give, my team, Sergeant Gentry, Officer Britton, Officer Miranda, and Officer Smetters, all of the credit in the world, because they did an amazing job.
Hats off to them, as well as you, for having the idea, the vision for this, and then everyone working together to carry this out. How do you feel? We talk week in and week out, about the issues facing our youth, and the fact that everyone kind of has to be a part of the solutions. Like all the adults at the
Yes.
table, as well as the youth themselves, have to be
Yes.
a part of the solution. The teen takeovers
Good.
that we're seeing and things like that. Do you see this as a part of, starting to work toward curbing what we're seeing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a way for the entire village to get involved. I mean, these kids went through the police department, the fire department. They saw Public Works do their demonstration. Um, they were given lessons, actual life lessons, what to do, what not to do. They had scenario based training. What would you do? What wouldn't you do? I mean, this all builds a foundation for these kids to build up upon. I mean, I think a lot of the issues that we have now is because, a lot of kids don't have that strong foundation that they can build upon. So this program was really designed to assist with building that foundation, giving them something to strive for, rewarding them when they do great things, and when they do things that aren't so great, there are consequences, but there's also positive reinforcement behind the consequences. So they know that everything's still going to be okay, and you still have a goal to work towards, and it will always be okay.
And it was a free program, correct?
Correct. 100% free.
So this truly is from the outside, the sponsors, to the inside of your department. Just a wonderful experience of watching so many people in a community work together for the betterment of our youth. Thank you for what you have done. Do you all already have a date of when the next round will start back up?
We do not,
Okay.
because we might do more than one next year.
Bring it. Bring it. We love to see it.
Yes,
Congratulations to the first cohort, and we hope that there are many, many, many more to come. Thank you for what you do on a regular basis, and great chatting with you today, Captain Mitchum.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Have a great weekend. You be safe. All right, everyone,
also.
it's 1:46. Isn't that wonderful just to see an opportunity like that for kids, and also, again, to see people in the community from the outside, these, businesses that help with the food or with, transportation, things like that, but then also the police department thinking of ways that they can be seen and understood and, have better communication with the people that they're there to serve, that they're sworn to protect and serve, so that you have better outcomes later. I just think the world of what they're doing there in Bolingbrook, and I hope that, there are other departments that will see it and want to do and do the same or more in the many months and years to come. Congratulations again to their cohort, the first for Bolingbrook, and we'll see. We'll see if we're reporting on maybe a neighboring community that's picking up on it and taking the next leg. All right, it's 1:47. Give us 2 minutes, everybody, before we get into our next discussion with the owner of the Alley, celebrating 50 years this weekend. Welcome back, everyone. 150 right now, and there is a big celebration happening this weekend for 50 years of business for Chicago's iconic punk retail shop, The Alley. Mark Thomas, the owner, is joining me right now, and congratulations on 50 years.
Well, I don't know how it happened. I remember my father was a doctor, and I was a 25-year-old kid, and I saw a plaque on his wall. Thanks for 25 wonderful years, Dr. Thomas. And I said, Dad, how do you do the same thing for 25 years? And here we are at 50.
Life has a funny way of doing that to us, right? I need to know, before we get any deeper into our conversation, I need to know about the area where you're sitting. There are some icons even right around you.
Well, we are I have a private back office, and this is a lot of the memorabilia that I've collected over the 50 years, like you're seeing behind me. That's a Keith Haring shirt from when he was alive. This is a Beatles room divider that was done once, and there were some samples done, never done again. So, yeah, I have the original lease I did when we moved to Belmont and Clark.
Wow.
We're gonna do a tabletop book with it. A lot of our ephemera and pictures, telling people the story because people seem to be really interested in it. But when we moved to Belmont and Clark, it was $1,000 a month, and it included a whole billboard in the wall, in the Punkin' Donuts lot, and we were down the alley in an old garage.
Is that how the name came about?
No, I actually didn't start the store. The store started in Woodfield Mall. They became a customer of mine. They began owing me a bunch of money. I took over half the store. It's a very long story. I ended up owning 100% of the store. And this is the 50-year anniversary of when I bought my original partner out, who was 60 and I was 21.
Oh.
And this is my 50th anniversary of owning 100% of that store.
Oh, wow. Okay. Plenty of backstory there for what is an institution. So, I mean, we've seen a little bit of your stash, your personal stash there, but what has kept people coming back to the alley over these last 50 years?
We're very inventive. I mean, we just came out. This is a artist proof of a tarot deck. And this is the original bag from 1976 in the store in Woodfield Mall. This is the original piece from 1987. This was our first T-shirt in 1987. So we're always coming up with new things. I'm always, because we do our own silk screening, we do our own jewelry casting. I make a lot of winners. I make a few losers, and that's how we do deals in the store. But, we're driven by my imagination and the history that I know. And I've traveled 4 million miles, and, I was in Camden Locks, and I was all over England and Paris. And my gosh, there was a flea market in Bangkok. And there was a whole building that was dedicated to fashion students. And I was bringing stuff over from all these fashion students back in the day. And, I'm just a creative, but I'm a creative, crazy guy.
Well, it's done well for you over the years. And, when I think about 50 years, tell me, what was the most challenging time for you as a business owner over the last 50 years?
People don't know what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I've gone broke twice, and then from 9/11 all the way through when we closed that store in 2016, the big store, it was rough times. We had 9/11, which, wiped out that year. Yeah. 2 or 3 years later, the Amazon effect just destroyed the Lakeview retail landscape. And we've lived through COVID, we've lived through Temu, we've lived through Shine. But you know what? People come in here and we give them a good time and we give them a lot of love. I mean, one of the things that we're doing at our event on Sunday is we have a blood donation bus here,
Wow.
and they're going to start being on our parking lot once a month. So we're always trying to give back to the community. Um, I made a map of all of Avondale. Avondale was voted by a Time Out magazine named Avondale the fifth coolest neighborhood in the world last year. I made a map of all the odd little weird store, and I've given away almost 10,000 copies in the last
Whoa.
15 months, driving traffic to my neighbors. Because I always felt if my community does better, the alley does better. If the alley does better, the community does better. So, this is, and I mean, I did that same thing when I was in Lakeview in the 80s. So, I mean, 45 years later, 40 years later, there I am doing it again.
All right, tell me more about Sunday's celebration. I mean, when you all were putting it together, what was going through your mind in terms of the things that you all wanted to include there for such a celebration as this?
Well, the alley is not just the alley. So this building's a 40,000 square foot building that my wife and I bought in 1999. By the way, she is my active partner. She's in here 5 days a week,
Wow.
early in the morning till noon when the store opens, doing all the visual displays. So we have 300 music and art tenants in our studios. We have 100 studios in the building. So there are going to be 70 artists who will be displayed. And by the way, we ask nothing from them for the space. There's going to be a bus from the local blood bank. They will be taking donations of blood. They're going to start being on our parking lot every month. We're picking a day, and it'll be like the first Saturday of the month or something like that. We have 6 bands. We have almost 120 models.
Whoa.
Some of them bought clothing from us. Some of them made their own clothing. We don't tell people what to wear. We're doing a model show. We have 6 bands that are going to be up there, but 3 of those bands came out of our building. So, we have on Spotify, we have the Alley FM, where we actually have only local bands on our thing. We're doing a Kickstarter project again with these, with these tarot cards. We're going to do a Kickstarter project because we're hoping to be able to finance those cards, which ended up to be a fortune, and then a 60-page coffee table book, which shows pictures of me all the way from an infant and shows all the different stores and all the different in stores by famous people. And I mean, we've had everybody from Bono and Plant and Page.
Cool.
Ace Frehley was such a regular that, he used to walk in. We had 100 employees. He comped everybody in the place tickets to his concerts when he came in. And he wore one of our shirts on stage constantly. And when we lost Ace and he passed away, we sold almost 5,000 shirts over the first 2 weeks. So, it's going to be a fun event. We have some food trucks here. The artists are just going to be amazing, and we really went out of our way this time to make sure that, we found people that were doing art. So I hope people will come and support us on Sunday. I hope that they're going to look for our Kickstarter program on Kickstarter with our tarot cards, and that'll help us do. I mean, my gosh, those tarot cards took me 3.5 weeks to go through 1,000 pieces of art. My artist sat here for 3 weeks working on these tarot cards. I can only imagine when I finally figure out how much it cost to create those tarot cards. And we did the Kickstarter campaign to, kind of branch off into a new world. So the alley is always looking for what's next.
Well, I hope that there are many, many, many more years of the alley from here. Congratulations again on 50 years. And I'm sure that the celebration this weekend will be awesome. Again, tell everybody where they need to go. And I'm hearing this is free for the party, right?
Well, it is free. And this morning I got 5 calls from friends telling me somebody was selling tickets to our event online,
Well,
which
clear
was
that
fraud.
air.
And that's terrible. So it's 2620 West Fletcher. It's Belmont, California, and Elston. I urge everybody no matter what event you're going to this weekend, even if you're coming to our event or going to another event, consider public transportation, consider Ubers. It's going to be when Chicago turns on the summer, there are events everywhere and there's not enough parking. And so I urge you to, think about public trans and Ubers when you're going to any event this weekend. And we're going to have a good time. I mean, like three of the models will get picked: best makeup, best goth, best grunge. Each one of them is going to get a free leather coat.
Oh.
So we'll have deals in the store. We always run deals in the store, and everything in the store at once. There'll be a discount on the whole store this weekend, and we're going to have a good time.
I'm sure you will. Mark, wonderful speaking with you today. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, you take care. Have fun this weekend. Summertime Shy, everybody is ready, and there's plenty of great events. This will be one of them, I'm sure. It's 2:01, everyone, so give us 2 minutes, and then I'll line up where we're going from here in the 2 o'clock hour. All right, welcome back, everyone. It's just about 2:05 now here on your Friday. We're now in the 2 o'clock hour, so let me tell you about some of the things that are coming up in this hour. We're going to get an update on the weather, as I've been saying, and we'll continue to say it's our big story of the day. I mean, it is beautiful outside today. We are getting a break, though. And we got to find out how much of a break from very strong storms. I mean, throughout our area, phones were going off left and right, sirens last night, as severe weather moved through our area. And that was like night 2 of serious storms. So Saturday is building up to possibly be another day when we need to be weather aware. And we're going to get an update on the forecast for today, moving into the weekend, plus more details, more context as to what all we just went through. I mean, I've been getting some emails from our weather team, and some of the things that they're talking about in here, you're just like, wow, I can't believe it. And even though my phone was blaring just like everybody else's, and my TV was going off just like everyone else's, but then when you see the things that they've compiled in terms of the information from analysis of what we went through, it's pretty shocking. So we're going to talk to one of our meteorologists right around 2:45 to get more information about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going weather-wise. At some point in time, we may have a press conference. It appears to be with Mayor Johnson today in this hour, possibly on storm damage. And so, we were speaking with the director for Streets and Sands yesterday around this time as we were gearing up for the evening that would be, and then also assessing the night before's damage. And he at that time said that there were 300 streets that were blocked in Chicago as a result of Wednesday's storms, and I believe 6,000 trees that were down. So it was already a Herculean effort that many of the crews were going through from Wednesday's storms, and for sure Thursday's storms proved to be way worse. So we'll possibly hear from Mayor Brandon Johnson about the overall operation throughout our area, where the storm is the worst or the damage is the worst, and what the crews throughout our city are working with. That again should be sometime in this hour, always on a sliding scale when we're dealing with politicians doing press conferences, but we'll see, and we'll take you there live just as soon as we can. We are World Cup Central as well. We're talking to you online, but right to my left there is a TV, and on Fox 32 on Fox Chicago, you will be in World Cup heaven for the next more than 30 days. There are, I think, 174 or so matches. So right now it's Canada and let's see, Britain, and no one has scored yet, okay? Tonight, Team USA gets going, and so we're super excited about that. They're going to be meeting tonight with Paraguay, and we hope that we'll be talking about them going forward, but we hope to get someone from the Paris Saint-Germain Academy, Chicago, who's going to talk about the World Cup frenzy, and for sure, there is so much excitement about these games, and for so long, they haven't been in the U.S. So that's like an added component for especially Team USA, the fact that these games are happening here in the U.S., in California tonight for Team USA. We'll pull in our 5 o'clock producer, Sloan Salerno, so that we can know how they're preparing for the evening shows. We're also going to check in with our friends from the Black Culture Wellness Culture Week that's going to be happening here soon, and find out what they are putting together for June 12th through the 21st. What are we on? June 12th right now. It kicks off this weekend. So we will be talking to them about the first city in the nation to publicly demonstrate this Black culture wellness model here. Of course, they had to start with Chicago, right? All of those things to come, all right? Great conversations that we should have within this hour. We're going to start here with one of the more troubling conversations we have had over the last several weeks and honestly several years, as we have been dealing with teen trends, teen takeovers, mass gatherings of youth, however you want to categorize it. We have seen some very troubling things happening with our young people. And so just as we were having a conversation in our last hour about ways that full communities can work together from every facet, whether it's law enforcement or whether it's business owners, whether it's just everyday people who want to see our youth shine, we want to be able to showcase not just what is happening, what's going wrong, but also the efforts to curb what we are seeing as well. And we have Dr. Saba Abor, who is joining us now to talk a little bit more about the conversations that you've had. And I love your perspective on this because you chose to address this from the lens of speaking with the youth behind some of these takeovers.
Yeah, Anita, thank you so much for having me. So I met two of the teen takeover organizers at 31st Street Beach and back in 2024. And this was at the height of when the teen takeovers at 31st Street Beach was happening. And there was 8 young people that had been shot within a 3-week period. Um, and so we were like, all right, and I was the chief of staff for a city council member that was in our ward. And we got to a point where we're like, what is happening? Like, what can we do to be supportive? So, John Jones, Manny Whitfield, Garen Gatewood were all down there with us. And trying to help us whenever there would be all these teens that would congregate, which no one had an issue with them congregating. It would be the violence that would sometimes break out. And to be honest with you, because I was there a couple of times, some of the times it would be the adults that would actually trigger the fights that would happen. And so one of the teen takeover organizers, we had actually offered him an internship at our office and had him start talking to CPD and just other folks that are directly affected and impacted by the teen takeover organizers. We gave him a position with us, and then after we gave him that position, the teen takeovers at 31st Street Beach had ended.
Wow.
And a big part of that was he was really like the ringleader of it. And he never did it with the intention of creating violence or creating harm. He did it with the intention of he's a promoter and he wanted to create fun spaces for the youth to interact at. And so we had a conversation recently, and they were really upset with the way that the narrative was being was created around them in terms of that they're troublemakers, that they're inciting violence, that they're creating chaos, and they're like, that's not why we do it. And so there's a lot of organizers. These are not the only two organizers. There's a lot of organizers that do it. They specifically were the ones that were doing 31st Street Beach. And so I can't speak for all the organizers, and they talk about that in the podcast episode. But I was so shocked, Anita, at what some of the rhetoric that they had, some of the commentary that they had provided. They said they want more police there. I mean, Nunu said he wants the National Guard to come assist at the teen takeovers. And I was just shocked by that.
Very interesting, and I guess I can understand, being young and creating something you think is going to be fun and it getting out of hand because you are young and probably didn't think through all of the various elements that go into a large gathering, and especially thinking through, okay, contingencies, what if something goes wrong? But at the same time, I mean, what was the course of conversation about, like, all right, if you have one event and it gets out of hand, what do you learn to prevent that type of situation from ever happening again? I mean, is that a part of the young mentality as well, that it's not going to happen again? I mean, because we have seen so many of these.
So great question, Anita, and thank you for sharing it. Because we talk about that, and one of the things that they talk about in the podcast is that they basically feel like the adults should be the ones that come and help them and assist them. The city, CPD, the CVI folks that are out there. So whenever there's teen takeovers, you'll see like a lot of community violence intervention folks that'll be out there, and they'll have the orange t-shirts on, and they feel like they're the ones that are supposed to help in terms of keeping it safe, which I thought was interesting. Again, it's like they're like, hey, we're going to create this event, you guys help us with the logistics and the safety of it. And so I remember when we started doing the bag checks, like they were really excited about that, because they're like, okay, if something happens, it's on you guys because you guys are doing the bag checks here at the beach. But what we found was a lot of times the issues weren't actually happening directly on the beach. They would happen when people would leave, when they would get to the parking lot. They would happen while they're leaving the beach. And so it's like the bag checks work, but then it's like when you have hundreds of people that are leaving at the same time, people are intoxicated, people, whatever, people say the wrong thing to someone, or there's girls that are fighting over a boy or whatever, or opposite, whatever it may be. They feel like the adults should be the ones that are helping. Again, these are just two of the organizers that stated this. I can't speak for all the organizers, but they feel like the adults should be the ones that are helping it keep it safe. And they want to continue to do the teen takeovers. Now, Daryl doesn't do them anymore at all. Nunu still occasionally does them. He just did one recently. But they're like, well, we'll do it. We want to create these spaces. We want the city to help us. We want the adults to help us with it.
But are they actually working with the city to create a program. And I say that from the perspective of like, we saw Chance the Rapper hold an event. I believe that was last weekend or the weekend before, specifically for this reason of trying to have like counter programming, so that there is somewhere positive for youth to be, large gathering, but that is created specifically to begin and end on a positive note. And I didn't hear about any problems with it. So are they working with adults to create it, or are they just expecting adults to quell what they create?
Yeah, I think it could be a combination of both. So like when I was at the city, we were working directly with the organizers. We were working in conjunction with Gary and Whitfield, John Jones, and Gary and Gatewood. None of them are at the mayor's office anymore,
I took
and
note of that when you
so
said
I'm
their
not
names.
sure. So I'm not sure now who is the one that's coordinating directly with the organizers, because we were all the ones who knew who the organizers were. So specifically at 31st Street Beach, in my regard, they probably know the other ones that were doing it too. But the issue is like the Chance the Rapper event was great. I think it's so important to create youth opportunities. The issue is though, are those opportunities just created for youth in general, or are there organizers where the organizers directly reached out to? And there's a group chat. I've seen this with my own eyes. There's a teen takeover organizers group chat, and it's about 20 people that are in this group chat, and they're the ones who do all of the organizing across the city. These are all people who they've just met each other on social media, and they'll post a flyer and be like, "Hey, I want to do this at 31st Street Beach. Who wants to collaborate with me on that?" And then that's how it gets put out. That was how they explained it to me. None of them, a lot of them are like very hesitant to talk to any of the adults. I know from my experience that CPD watches the flyers online, and a lot of times they know who the organizers are. And I've harped everyone. I'm like, why don't you guys just go talk to them? Like, I don't understand, what is the point of having salt trucks and like all of this extra CPD officers at an event when you can just go and talk to the organizers and change the way that they do it, instead of just like being reactionary. I feel like the city has been very reactionary, and they have not been proactive in trying to work with the organizers directly. And they'll say that they did, but they didn't. I heard recently the mayor had mentioned that he had hired one of the teen takeover organizers. That was the organizer that we had hired in our office. And so I have not seen anybody actually reaching out directly to them. I asked them also when we talked about it on the podcast, I asked them directly, has anyone ever reached out to you guys or talked to you about it? And they're like, one time, but it was not the city. It was John Jones and I that had asked them.
Yeah. You know, there's so much to be said here, and I'm glad that they're at least finding an avenue to communicate with you. I wish there were some bigger conversations being had, and I'm telling you, as you were noting names, I was writing them down like, nope, not with the city anymore. Nope, not with the city anymore. So where does that leave us as a city, and who is communicating with these young people now and trying to change what we are seeing? You know, a lot of cities have tried to work through, okay, where is the parental aspect in this? Because yes, important that we speak with the youth, but like, if we're talking about young people, you're still under somebody's roof when you start the day, and hopefully when you end the day. So where have you talked to them about that aspect of it, like the parental guardian role in this?
Yeah, and so I'm glad you asked that question. So on the podcast, I had asked them that question. I said, well, what do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like if the parents get fined? I asked Nunu this. I said, if the parents get fined, would you stop doing the teen takeovers? And his response was, yeah, because whose parent is going to pay that? I love my mom. I don't want her to have to pay a $5,000 fine. But he also talks about how there's some parents who, one, don't know that their kid is at a teen takeover. They'll tell their parent they're somewhere. I mean, I was a kid, like I used to do that. Like I would be like, hey, I'm going here, and wasn't over there. I was somewhere else. And they also mentioned how they sometimes, like, some parents, are like, they, their mental health might not be there, they may be sick, or they're just working and they don't have the capacity to be able to have that type of like rigidness on where their kids are. And it was interesting because I was expecting them to say, no, we don't feel like, or we feel like parents should be held accountable. And Nunu on the podcast says, no, I don't think parents should be held accountable. It should be us that's held accountable. But again, they talk about it of how they want to do it and have it be safe. They want help from the city. They want help from adults to help them create events. Essentially like how, we have, I don't know if like this is like an outdated term, but like we had sock hops when we were growing up where you would have like dances, or
Yeah.
you would go like the roller rink, or you would go in places where it was specifically designated for teens. I think one of the issues is that people just do youth events and they're not talking directly with people who are actual organizers, because these are kids who have careers in promotion, they have careers in being in marketing. Like, they're really good. So if you can get 300, 400, 500 kids to one event, you have reach and you are a marketing expert.
Yeah, you have the skills, and I don't think anyone should or could, maybe could, but should doubt the fact that these aren't dumb people.
Yeah.
There are skills there that could be put to good use.
Yes.
But for sure, there's a lot of frustration over what we have continually seen, and can't make excuses, for some of the scenes that we have seen play out that have led to damage and also injuries as well. But I do think it's a wonderful thing that they're at least opening up and kind of talking to you and voicing what they would like to see. I'm hoping that there will be others, adults like yourself, and those who are still within the city, who hear those voices and can act in such a way that there is some type of organization that happens to allow young people to, yes, gather and be young people, but at the same time with some type of guardrails around it that keep other people safe as well as the young people themselves at the end of the day. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. Thank you for what you're doing for young people. I think we need to see a lot of different parts of this conversation coming together. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Anita. I appreciate it. Anyone that wants to hear the conversation, it's on all streaming platforms, Victim or Villain Podcast. They have great insight on there, so it's really good to watch.
I can't wait to watch myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
It's 2:23, everyone. Stand by 2 minutes, and we're going to get into our next discussion about Black Culture Weekend. Okay, welcome back, everyone. 2:30. Thank you for being patient with us. We're working through a few technical difficulties here. So while we wait to bring in our next guest, let's go ahead and take a look at how the stock market is looking for today. Ah, look at that. Sitting in great territory here, and what an exciting day it really has been for the stock market. So let's talk a little bit about what we are seeing as we don't have too much more time for trading to continue here. But of course, today, the big news for the stock market was SpaceX opening, having their IPO today, their initial public offering. So they opened trading today at $150, and shares just opened, pushing the company to $2 trillion market cap. I mean, this is clearly uncharted territory that Elon Musk is now in here. And so as of the last hour or so, the price for SpaceX has gone up to $176.52. Yeah, Elon Musk's now the first trillionaire. And let's find out a little bit more information, kind of background as to what we're seeing here overall for the day. But of course, most of the information really is about SpaceX. Obviously, we're still kind of watching things with the war in Iran and the fluctuation of comments that we have had. President Trump saying that we were close to a deal, that Iran wanted to make a deal. The Pakistani prime minister, I think I saw earlier today, said that there is a tentative deal, but an Iran state media says no such thing. And so kind of trying to sift through what exactly is the case, what has been said, where do we stand in terms of our discussions with Iran. And that's a little hard to do today because we're getting a lot of different outlooks on where things stand, but you can see that's not having much of an effect on the market as of today. The Dow Jones sitting nearly 350 points up thus far, and looks like it's on track to end the day in very positive territory, which we saw yesterday as well. Also, and when we ended the day yesterday, sitting in very positive territory as well. So good to see those things. Obviously, hope that continues into next week, but glad to be able to end a week in positive territory. And one can only hope that when we start up a brand new week, we'll see more green on the screen, and we'll be talking about being, possibly in some type of peace agreement with Iran. We'll, of course, continue to monitor those things. But we do have, I think, our tech issues worked out so that we can have our discussion with Theo Crawford now about Chicago launching the first citywide demonstration of Black culture wellness during Black Culture Week 2026, which begins today. Thank you so much for being here, Theo. Let's see.
Let me try to see if I can get myself a little clearer on the screen here.
Great having you here on the show. We appreciate it. All right. Still working through a couple things here. So it's a 29-day campaign that's all around the framework of health, wealth, and community well-being. Theo, are you there now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, wonderful. So tell me a little bit about how you all put this together, like what the reasoning was and what you want to highlight this week.
Yeah, the reasoning behind Black Culture Week was really birthed about 5 or 6 years ago, thinking about the things that were involved in your most recent conversation. How do we address issues in community? How do we help folks heal? How do we build environments that are most conducive to us being our best selves, not just as a Black community, but as a whole world community, definitely the city of Chicago. So in that work, during that time, I was finishing up my master's in clinical social work. And I developed a concept that really is an amalgamation of varying theories and approaches to individual and community wellness called Black Culture Wellness. And it has 7 values, 8 principles, 9 evidence-based elements, 10 essential outcomes. It's a theory of transformation that, when applied on an individual and community basis, we expect to have increased health, wealth, and well-being. So Black Culture Week, this year in particular, is really an examination of how folks are on their own utilizing various elements of Black culture wellness as a way to heal themselves, heal communities. And part of that, from an element standpoint, cultural practice, self-efficacy, behavior change, marketing, movement theory, all of these are various aspects of the theory of transformation. And we're, one, producing events ourselves as part of the organizers of Black Culture Week. And I'm also a founding member of the Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition, which has its own story. And we are identifying other agencies, organizations, and individuals who are doing work that we think you should participate in, visit their activities, and we're evaluating how they make contributions to the culture, to the community, and operate off the varying elements of Black culture wellness.
What are some specific things that people can participate in or take advantage of?
I think for the highlight for us, we're doing in partnership with the city of Chicago, Juneteenth flag raising ceremony that's going to be taking place this Tuesday at 10 a.m. at Daly Plaza. So officially you should get there at 9:50 because we got some musicians and whatnot kicking things off. So that is something that folks should participate. We're also, a featured event for us is the 1865 Fest, which takes place in Garfield Park. That is put on by the West Side Cultural Alliance. We're happy to be celebrating them. Also, the A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, they put on the Juneteenth Youth Olympics, and they do that in Pullman, and that's going to be taking place on Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. Then we have also the Moors Emancipation Ball that's going to be taking place on Thursday at, I think it starts at 7 a.m. So folks can please participate in that. And then our other coalition members, there's over 15, 20 events officially, folks, are part of our coalition that they're doing all across the city. And you can go to blackcultureweek.org and click on the events section. You'll get a listing of that. You can also go to Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition. I think that's shyjuneteenth.org to get a listing of those events and activities as well.
So I'm seeing here the campaign asked an important question. What happens when the communities that create that value are able to retain and build from it? Speak to me a little, expound on that.
Yeah. One of the things that we are celebrating along with Black Culture Week is Black Music Month, right? And that is, I think, a perfect example to get to the question that you asked. Black Music Month was created in the late 70s after Kenny Gamble from Gamble and Huff and a couple other folks had been lobbying President Carter at the time to create a particular policy mechanism that would encourage, I guess that would probably be the best word to use, the music industry to pay Black artists, musicians, and creatives at the rate that they deserve. We know historically people have loved the rhythm but hated the blues. So one of the things that we highlight during Black Culture Week is over 16 genres of music that have been created by Black folks, be it from gospel, country music, rock and roll, house music, disco, on down the line. That music has made billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, for industries worldwide. But the creators of the music and the communities of which these genres come from have not received probably even 1% of the income that has been generated through their gift and their contribution to the world. So you have an extraction from community where you celebrate the talent and you do whatever it does to bring you joy and value, but you don't then return. There's not a reciprocal relationship with those individuals that have created the music, created whatever this particular type of service or thing is, and the community suffer from it. When the gift should also always provide from you. That's what the Bible says. Your gift will make room for you. Too often we live in societies where our gift is extracted and we don't get the resources that come from it. So the authentic celebration of Black Culture Week, is to ensure that we utilize our gifts. We appreciate the gifts of everyone, and also do so in a way that increases their health, wealth, and well-being, be it bringing in money that is necessary to pay bills and make investments, be it that which motivates folks to build infrastructure and systems and institutions that sustain communities, anything that's life affirming and life sustaining. We want to make sure that we utilize our God-given gifts and talents and capacities in a way that is reciprocal, right? We give to everyone, but also maintains and provides for those who are the creators of it.
Well, thank you so much for telling us more about what's going to be going on. I love the fact that there is a social worker behind it because you give so much more context as to the importance of what's happening, not just events to have events, but the real context, the stories, the effort that goes into things like this that should pay off, that should have many things that come from them for years to come. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you out this week.
All right. There's a lot going on. I'm going to try to get out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Take care.
You be well.
All right, everyone. It's 2:41 right now. Give us 2 minutes. We'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit about the World Cup frenzy going on. Welcome back. It's 2:43, and day one of the World Cup definitely lived up to the hype. Mexico taking the first win yesterday, and we're hoping that as Team USA gets going this evening, that we'll be talking about a win for the U.S. By tomorrow. But let's bring in Alejandro Anzueta from Paris Saint-Germain Academy, Chicago, to talk about the excitement, the frenzy, the parties, and of course the matches that are in play right now and to come. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. As you mentioned, right, there's a lot of different things going on in the city at the moment, the country, right, in Mexico and in Canada as well. It's just been a huge festival, honestly, over the last few days, and the World Cup kicked off yesterday, so the city was vibrant all over the place.
We had our own Brett Bugansky, who was out at recess yesterday. That place was packed, and people were ready.
Yeah, I actually was with a few of our staff members, our coaching staff in the West Loop area, which is where our PSG Academy Chicago club is based out of. And there was millions of people in the streets, restaurants, bars, everywhere. It was packed to watch the Mexico game. And it turned out great. Mexico got a 2-0 win, and everyone was having a great time.
Now, I mean, we're super elated to be able to like gather and to watch these games, but I would love for you to maybe, from your perspective, being someone who is in the community more so than many of us, how do you feel about Chicago not getting one of these games?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, honestly, because I think our city has so much to offer. We're a very diverse city with many different cultures. And I think that's one of the best parts about Chicago is that we're able to celebrate in many different ways. I think we're one of the top cities in the country and in the world, honestly. And so we have so much to offer. We have great restaurants, sightseeing all over, and everybody knows that the summertime in Chicago is the best time to be here. So a little bit of a letdown that we're not hosting any games. I think it would have been incredible for people from all over the world to visit and to experience Chicago. But yeah, a little bit upset, but hey, the show must go on, and we're supporting from here, wherever the games are taking place.
Yeah, I'm like looking over at New York, and of course they've already got NBA stuff going on, and then I'm looking over at LA, and they've got the match tonight in Inglewood at the very least, and you're like, oh, come on, it should have been in Chicago. But this does create more opportunities for young people in Chicago just having it here in the U.S.
Most definitely. I think when a city can host an event, the magnitude of the World Cup, it creates so much, right? Not just business specific, but just the experiences that people can take from having an event in your backyard. I think it would have been great and beneficial for many of the people in Chicago.
What lessons do you hope that young people that you interact with who will watch these matches, and maybe some will even go to them, take from this moment in time in football?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we've been talking about it with a lot of our players in the academy over the past couple of weeks. We know that the World Cup was starting up soon. And I think for us, the message we try to share with our players is to just keep dreaming, right? Keep believing, keep having that faith that, one day they might be able to have the opportunity to play, right, at the World Cup, perhaps. But aside from that, just taking the lessons that they're able to see from their idols, right? The people that they look up for on the field, take those lessons of commitment, dedication, hard work, and belief at the end of the day. We want our players to always dream at the highest levels, and follow that through wherever they end up going in life, whether that's on the pitch or off of it.
And the frenzy translates into also more parents probably seeking out opportunities with you all and others here in our area to invest in their kids kind of trying this out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's very similar to what happened in the U.S. in '94 when the World Cup was hosted here as well. I know my parents actually attended a match in '94 here at Soldier Field, and they said it was electric. And so, we saw a surge in the sport and interest in soccer, which was not so popular in the U.S. at that time. Through the late 90s and early 2000s, soccer has been one of the fastest rising sports for youth participation. And so, after this World Cup, we're expecting the same kind of impact, and it's going to continue to grow. We on the daily throughout the week, we have parents reaching out, players who are interested in joining the PSG Academy Chicago, and we invite them all to reach out and learn a little bit about our academy and what it is that we have to offer.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and go Team USA tonight.
Best of luck to them, and thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Take care. All right, everyone, 2:49, so let's take a 2-minute break, and we're going to get the latest from meteorologist Mark Stroud. Okay, welcome back, everyone. 2:51 right now. We are standing by for Mayor Johnson's press conference on storm damage to begin. And while we wait, we have one of our meteorologists here. Mark, were you at all surprised, given the research that you all did leading up to last night? Were you at all surprised by what it actually became?
Well, we're talking about tornadoes days in advance. I mean, it looked like that was going to be a perfect setup for tornadoes. You know, I don't know if surprise is the right word. You know tornadoes are coming, but then all of a sudden you have one of these maybe EF3 tornadoes, a very large tornado. Statistically, they don't happen as often as the other tornadoes. So yeah, it is a bit of an outlier event, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, we bend over backwards for preparation for warning. And you know, we were just talking about this a little earlier this morning. It's really nice that there's not just one method of being warned or informed. I mean, we have our cell phones, we have NOAA weather radios, we have the TV, we have radio, we have all these different ways of being informed, which honestly, I think saves lives in this particular situation.
Yeah, I mean, the warnings were coming out of everything last night, and we have not heard of any deaths.
Right.
So we are grateful for that.
Very grateful.
Yeah, but lots of damage.
A lot of damage. We're talking about some, you know, apparent, obvious supercell tornadoes that came out of this, and very powerful tornadoes for Streeter, and then over in Indiana. You know, here we are in June. Further proof you can have tornadoes 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. We can have them anywhere, anytime, and even the stronger ones are always a possibility.
And it's, I feel, the level of danger to me is even more elevated when it is nighttime. You know, when
there's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, I went several years back and was part of a tornado research project. It was called Operation Vortex, and it was based out of Oklahoma City at the Severe Storms Lab at that point. And we were chasing tornadoes all over the Southwest, Oklahoma, into Texas. They had one rule: we don't chase at night. Once the sun goes down, all operations are done, because you can't see what you can't see.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a wild night, and it was night 2 for many people. Way worse last night than Wednesday night, but for a lot of people whose power was knocked out Wednesday.
Well, we had the old 1-2 punch. So
Yeah.
first of all, coming through Wednesday, we had the storms come through. Not, you know, mainly of a tornadic nature, but of a high wind event. Now, keep in mind, you know, if your roof gets blown off your garage and it's high winds,
You don't
straight
care.
line winds versus a tornado, the damage is the same. So we can have, you know, kind of comparable damage in some cases. So, but we had the high winds come through, which very bad for widespread power outages. And then, you know, night 2, we had the tornadoes come through. Again, tornado will no doubt knock out power, but for the most part, it is in more of a localized area as opposed to a broad front that comes across the whole northern part of the state and can take out whole counties.
Yeah, I've always said, you know, while it's important from a documentation, an analysis maybe perspective to know like EF2 or 1 or you know 0, but if you have damage, you don't care about numbers or designation.
You know, not really, and certainly not after the fact. When your roof is laying in your backyard, you know, whether it was straight line wind damage, you know, it's damage all the same, and you know, your insurance company obviously going to handle it all the same. And you know, to have that 1-2 punch one night after another is really, it's fatiguing to a certain extent.
It's been an exhausting week, I think, for a lot of people for many reasons, whether it was rain, flooding
was
some,
another
you know,
issue.
some localized flooding, or the wind, or the tornadoes, and the power outages, all of those things, and the cleanup that has to be done. So today, we wake up bright, sunshiny, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, but again, doing the cleanup, as you pointed out. So yeah, it can be a long, exhausting process that can last days, and well, certainly with damage can last weeks and even months by the time you get contractors in there. So, you know, I just every time this happens, I always wonder, like, how come we just don't build our houses out of concrete? You know, but
Fortify ourselves.
Not really a good solution, but you know, you still in the back of your mind that, you know, 4th grade, you know, thought comes up, like, why don't we do this?
Yeah. So where do we stand now? I mean, where do we go from here?
Well, we're in pretty good shape over the weekend. Now, that being said, we do have some stronger showers and thunderstorms coming through late tomorrow night and into early Sunday. Now, it doesn't look like they'll be tornadic, and we could have some gusty winds out of that, but I don't think at this point they'll be as strong as they were over the last couple of days. But we do have a round 3 coming through, again, to what right now appears to be a little bit lesser extent. And then we're into the 70s, so we'll be able to give the air conditioner a break, save some money off the ComEd bills. And
well,
then,
for the people who don't have power,
oh my goodness, right?
you know, that's a really...
It can be a lifesaver,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It can be really, we'll also have dry conditions for the first couple of days. And dry, I mean lower humidity. And again, no rainfall Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. Now, as we go Tuesday-ish into Wednesday, Thursday, more chances of rain pickup. Right now, it looks like about a 20 to 30, 35% chance of rain. So we are going back into some rain in the end of the 7-day forecast, but we do catch a little breather between now and then.
Well, I know that people will be ecstatic about catching a breather. The longer the better after
Yeah.
what they've been through over the last couple of days here. And even ComEd, I know in their press conference yesterday, this is before last night's storms, were already saying some people wouldn't have power until like 11 p.m. on
Right.
Saturday. And again, that's before last night's storm. So you would think that could be extended now.
Yeah, well, no doubt, I'm sure that
Yeah.
will be the case. And it's frustrating too, because we've become so accustomed to having all modern conveniences at our fingertips. Electricity, it's so reliable. Our grid is so reliable here that when it does go down because of a major storm like that, it becomes frustrating.
Yeah.
And we really sometimes forget about emergency preparedness and what we have to do just in case we, lose power.
Yeah, we were speaking with Casey Cronus earlier, and she said some of the people that she was talking to as she's kind of going from one place to another. She was in Justice, and she said some of the people were talking about, well, we're going to go get a generator now, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
I mean, at the very least, we've said this in the first hour, if you have your life when it's all said and done,
Yeah.
you've been given another opportunity to better prepare for whatever the next occasion should be.
Well
Hopefully
spoken.
it's a while
Yeah.
down the road, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things too, like, oh, a generator. Yeah, we should probably get one of those. And when the time comes, not so much here in our part of the Midwest, but certainly on the Hurricane Coast, when the time comes to get a generator, if you don't already have one, usually you go to Home Depot and they're
Yeah, you're
already
not getting
sold
it
out.
when the time
Yeah.
comes. Right.
So it's always good. I was a Boy Scout. Our motto was be prepared.
Well, thank you so much for coming up, letting us know what to prepare for in the next 7 days,
Yeah.
what things are looking like. And again, I hope that people have more time rather than less time to get some cleanup done if that's what's on your agenda for the weekend.
Amen to that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. We will see you coming up at 4 o'clock. Everyone, give us 2 minutes. I'll line you up for where we're going in our 3 o'clock hour.
Well, thank you very much.
Right, 3:01 right now, and the press conference for Mayor Johnson talking about the storm damage is getting ready to begin. You can see the setup is there, and there are plenty of people who are gathered as this should be getting underway any minute now. They've postponed it just a bit, but you know, again, as soon as they are ready for it, and you know, Mayor Johnson steps to a mic or one of the aldermen, we will definitely take you back there live. But you can see some of the crews that have been working hard. If you think about yesterday, or right around this time when we spoke with Streets and Sanitation, the commissioner for Streets and Sanitation, he said that there were 6,000, and again, this is before last night's storms. There were already 6,000 trees down across Chicago, and there were 300 streets that were blocked because of Wednesday night storms. And so here we are now. We've added quite a bit on to what was already on the plate for so many of the workers this week. And so hopefully Mayor Johnson will be at the podium soon to be able to detail a little bit more of what we're working with this week in terms of cleanup efforts and how the city is mobilizing to respond. I mean, you can see right behind them the building there that has many boarded up windows, and it does look like there is a tree down right behind them. So there are many scenes just like that throughout Chicagoland, Indiana having its share of issues as well. And that really drives us to, as we wait for that press conference to begin, many of the stories that are trending on our website have to do with like people saying, what happened last night? I mean, if your alarms were going off on your phones, the TV, you know, if you were outside and the alarms were going off, the sirens were going off outside, a lot of people woke up this morning, what happened? And so I would say if I'm looking at 5 of our top trending stories, 3 of them all have to do with the weather last night. And so one, the headline is multiple tornadoes confirmed in Illinois, Indiana, cleanup underway. And as you heard from meteorologist Mark Strell just moments ago, one of those tornadoes looks to be an EF3. I mean, we just really do not talk about EF3 tornadoes in our area very often at all, and that means winds associated with an EF3 tornado, just so you know, because again, going back into our discussion, yeah, if you have damage, you really do not care whether an EF1 or an EF3 did it. But for documentation purposes and for scientific purposes, so that you know, EF3 tornadoes have winds of 135 to 165 miles per hour. That's extremely strong stuff. And again, we don't see it very often in our area or really at all. And so we had one last night, and a lot of cleanup as a result for many people. And so, yes, it makes sense that that's one of our top trending stories because we had very strong storms last night. Merrillville homeowner, this is another one our Saquon was on earlier today, but a lot of people have been clicking on as the hours have gone by. A Merrillville homeowner describing the tornado's impact and saying, I saw the nightmare. I mean, just think about that type of statement. I saw the nightmare. I worked in, just as Mark Strell did, I worked in Oklahoma for just about 5 years. And you would often hear from people during severe weather season as you're going to different scenes and you are seeing literal homes reduced to rubble. And people will say, like, it sounded like a train. Or, you know, they could see it coming and then had to run for danger in Oklahoma because you have so many tornadoes through that region. You know, you often have tests that happen. In fact, the street that I lived on, there were tests every Saturday at noon of the siren system. But it is to make sure that when you hear that siren and it's not Saturday at noon, you know something is extremely wrong. And just keep in mind, the siren isn't for, the outdoor sirens are for people who are outdoors. The outdoor sirens aren't for people who are in your home. So when your phone goes off, when you're watching TV and all of a sudden it goes blank and it starts buzzing and telling you there's a tornado warning, keep in mind, tornado watch means watch out. tornado warning means take cover. It is imminent. So, when you have a situation like that, somebody saying, I saw the nightmare, that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life, especially if you live in an area where you don't encounter these types of things very often. And of course, April, we saw very active weather in April. May seemed very calm, and here we are now in June, starting up June, and things are really getting active, have been this week. I believe Mayor Johnson is speaking now, so let's listen in.
EVP and Chief Operating Officer, Mr. David Perez, as well as community leaders, faith leaders, and vital partners of the City of Chicago. Thank you all for your leadership and your support of our residents. Together, these leaders, private partners, community organizations, utility providers, and city departments represent the collective response to our communities as we face extreme storms and very difficult weather this week. Extremely high winds and rain have damaged many of our homes, trees, windows, and utility poles that city crews are working tirelessly to respond to. We want to extend our thoughts and prayers to those across Chicagoland and the entire communities that have been impacted by this storm. During moments like these, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of our region and the importance of coming together to rebuild and support one another. OMC has remained in coordination with the National Weather Service in Chicago and other utility partners and agencies to prepare for Wednesday's and Thursday's storms. And OMC 311 call takers continue to serve on the front lines by taking calls from residents and logging storm-related requests. As of Friday, June 12th at 10 a.m., residents reported 10 flooded viaducts, water in 101 basements, over 673 traffic signals down, over 8,300 tree emergencies, and another 3,653 trees that needed to be cleared away. All responding agencies, including DSS and CDOT, answered those calls and are continuing to restore services and ensure public safety. On behalf of the entire city of Chicago, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all of our city workers who have been on the front lines this week, especially OMC, DWM, DOB, and street and sanitation workers. I also want to thank our utility partners, community organizations, faith leaders, and volunteers who have stepped up to support residents. I encourage residents to continue calling 311 to report water in your homes and basements, flooding on our streets and viaducts, street light outages, and tree debris. City crews are ready to quickly respond to your request. Next week, the City of Chicago will work with Cook County, the state, IEMA, and FEMA to begin conducting an assessment of the storm damage and evaluate what recovery steps are needed next. We want to extend a word of caution to homeowners. After any damaging weather events, homeowners should be alert for home repair businesses offering fraudulent services. You can find more information and resources from the Illinois Attorney General, the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, or by just simply calling 311. Lastly, as Chicago continues to confront more extreme weather and storms that hit our south and west side communities especially hard, I want to uplift our commitment to combating climate change, particularly in the communities that bear the brunt of it. We are working to meet our ambitious tree planting goals and improve the south and west side's tree canopy that will help absorb water in extreme storms. We are investing greener and more modernized infrastructure across our cities so that our communities can withstand extreme weather. And we continue utilizing the full force of government approach to invest in our communities and strengthen the city's response to our people. Thank you again to the city leaders, crews, and our partners who are serving the people of Chicago this week. Now I want to thank a partner in this work, the Alder of the 6th Ward. Please welcome Alderman Will Hall. Oh, and it's also his birthday, so happy birthday, Alderman Hall.
Working on my birthday. First of all, I wanted to say welcome to the 6th Ward. This is Chicago's resilient ward. Secondly, I want to thank our mayor for answering the phone call. When there was distress, I started with our leader, and I'm grateful not only that he answered the phone, but he showed up. I'm grateful that behind us in 1992, there was a dream team that went to Barcelona, but this is the dream team that continues to answer the phone even on a sunny day for the storm that we had, each of these commissioners. And so we're grateful for this dream team for showing up in some of the hardest weather we've ever seen in our city's history in this ward. And so as our mayor has said, the climate has changed. Right off the expressway, this is now a wind tunnel that seems to pick up tornado weather-like conditions, especially in the last 3 years. And so, again, I'm grateful that no tree felled, hit someone and killed them. Cars can be replaced, lives can't. And so we're grateful not only that we're moving trees, but we're moving forward to be a leader in how do we fix both an environmental issue and how do we continue to show up for our neighbors. And so to the entire 6th Ward, the mayor is here because that's what our mayor does with his team. They show up. And so again, Mayor, and to all of these commissioners, ComEd, all of our partners, thank you for showing up when it was dark, because today the light is shining bright on this ward in our city. And so the one who answered the phone when the lights were out, when we didn't know which way cars were going to go, he's a great manager of any emergency in our city. He's our commissioner, Commissioner Frank Velez, as he comes.
Thank you, Alderman Hall, and thank you, Mayor. I'm Frank Velez, the Executive Director for the Office of Emergency Management Communications. I wanted to start out by thanking all our city partners who have been working around the clock responding to storms for the last 2 days. Your all hard work and dedication to keep Chicago safe and deserves recognition. As part of our morning, OMC has received well over 13,000 calls, as the mayor said, calls for services through 311 with these storms, in addition to over 7,000 service requests we have received online via our apps. The majority of these calls are downed trees and debris. If you need to report storms, the quickest and the best way is that by using the 311 app or the online at 311.chicago.gov. I wanted to echo some that the mayor said. Very important. If you feel that your home was damaged by the storms, we caution you to be mindful of home repair frauds. You can visit the website, the Illinois Attorney General's Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumers Protection, to protect yourself from home repair frauds. Links can be found on the Chicago OMC app. If you are a victim of consumer fraud, you can report it to 311 also. If you are a SNAP recipient and lost food in the last 2 days, you are eligible for food loss reimbursement. If you apply within the next 10 days through the Illinois Department of Human Services, recovery resources information can be found on the OMC app at the OMC website at chicago.gov/OMC. I encourage everyone to download the OMC app and sign up to Notify Chicago alerts at the notifychicago.org. Having the OMC sign up for the alerts is the best way to make sure that you're prepared and informed on what is happening. With that, I will turn it over to my good friend, Commissioner Stollard.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Alderman Hall. My name is Cole Stollard, Commissioner, Department of Streets and Sanitation. I just want to ask everybody and say thank you for the patience and the grace that you're giving the department and all of us that are working together. This isn't just a streets and sand thing. This is a water thing. This is a CDOT thing. This is an OEMC thing. This is a mayor's office thing. This is all of us working together. It's our trucks that are out there, and we kind of get a lot of the recognition or the thanks, but it is all hands on deck here. We have over 10,000 tree emergencies, and what's unique about this storm is we've seen this magnitude of storms, But with this one that makes it unique is it hit all 50 wards. Usually it's a 10 ward, 15 ward, 20 ward situation, and it kind of is isolated. This one's all 50 wards. So it's affected all 50 wards. We're going to continue to work with ComEd. We're going to continue to work with People's Gas. We're going to continue to work with OEMC, and know that we're there for you. And just please be patient. I said we have over 10,000 of these emergencies, and it's an emergency to everybody. If a tree's laying on somebody's car, that's an emergency. If it's a tree laying on somebody's house, that's an emergency. If there's a tree blocking somebody's sidewalk, we understand that's an emergency. Right now, we're focusing on opening streets. We have over 400 blocked streets still. And if we don't have these streets open, ambulances can't get there, police can't get there, residents can't get there, people can't get their medicine, dialysis, oxygen, food, I can go on and on. So our goal right here through these next couple days is to get all these streets open citywide. And then we'll start addressing the block sidewalks, the branches and the parkways. We know everybody wants to get life back to normal, and we're here working in partnership, and we'll be here Saturday, we'll be here Sunday, and we'll be here all next week, and we'll be here till we get it done. That's the commitment that we have. That's the backing I have with the mayor behind us. That's what we're here to do. Thank you, and I'd like to introduce First Deputy Craig Turner from CDOT.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Baron Johnson and Alderman Hall. My name is Craig Turner. I'm the First Deputy Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Transportation. First, I want to thank all the city crews that are working tirelessly to this response to make our streets safer and clear the roads. At CDOT, our Division of Electrical Operations has been working 24/7 to repair the street lights, traffic signals, and also working in conjunction with ComEd to make our streets safer. We've been hanging temporary stop signs across the city. We just ask that everyone please slow down and drive carefully because some of the traffic signals are dark and they're not flashing red. So we just want everyone to be safe out there. And we also ask that if you see any down wires to contact 311, stay away from them. And we'll work with our streetlight crews and also ComEd to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. Again, we thank you for your patience, and also look forward to getting our city back to the way it should be. Thank you. I'm sorry. Next, I'd like to introduce DFS Commissioner Green. Thank you.
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello, my name is Angela Green, and I am the Commissioner for the Department of Family and Support Services. And I want to begin by saying thank you, Mayor Johnson, and the Office of Emergency Management and Communications, as well as to Alderman Hall. Thank you for your constant concern and your work on protecting Chicagoans. I want to thank all the first responders for their steadfast leadership through the city's storm response and for helping keeping Chicagoans safe. Our department serves the most vulnerable residents across the city. And if you are in need of support following the storm, we ask you again to please call 311. If you are struggling with food insecurity, please call 211. Or you may also reach out to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Department of Family Support Services has 6 community centers throughout the city. We're open today until 5 and Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, where you can get out from the heat. You could charge your phone, different things that you may have. If you need electricity, please feel free to access any of our community centers. In addition, for those of you that may be in distress because of power outages, please know that you can receive additional services and support if you reach out through 311. Those of you that may be receiving our Meals on Wheels, our drivers are on alert and they're notifying us if you are experiencing power outages so that we can ensure that you receive those additional supports as needed. Our ombudsman team is working with the Chicago Department of Public Health to provide additional resources and support to our seniors that are in long-term care facilities and nursing homes. If you are a caregiver who is taking care of someone who may be homebound, please call 311 to request a temporary residential stay during this power outage time. And you can also call, if you're a caregiver, for support for yourself as well. Additionally, we're asking all of our seniors to come to our senior centers. We have 19 satellite as well as senior centers throughout the city where you can find relief from the heat, and if you have power outage, you can connect there, but also connect to the services that we have in our senior services. I do ask for our seniors and others to call 311 for well-being checks. And also, we ask that if you are experiencing homelessness, if you are out and unsheltered, we are out there providing resources as well as providing and offering up shelter placement. And then finally, if you are a property manager, we ask you to please notify the Department of Buildings about any structural damage and ensure all occupants are informed of the building safety conditions and relevant safety guidance. So thank you everyone for your support and for your attention to your loved ones and neighbors as part of our citywide storm response. I ask you to please take care. I will now turn it over to ComEd's Executive Vice President and COO, David Perez.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Thank you, Mayor Johnson, and thank you to your entire team for partnering with us so that we can restore electricity and power and restore normalcy to the lives of all our customers and neighbors. These storms were significant. We have not seen this type of systems and destruction on our system in several years. It was a two-wave storm. The first storm impacted us on Wednesday afternoon. It caused over 550,000 outages across northern Illinois. As of 2 p.m. today, we've restored 460,000 of those outages and those customers. The remaining customers of Storm 1, we expect to have them all completed and restored by tomorrow at midnight. The second storm, while we were attacking the first storm, where we had to pause because of the safety of all our men and women who answered the call of duty to work under these significant, dangerous conditions and extreme weather conditions, we had to pause them while Storm 2 made its way again through the same path that the first one took and impacted another 150,000 customers. As of 2 p.m., we've restored over 110,000 of those customers. Those customers we expect to have completely restored by Sunday at midnight. Our commitment is, like we've been doing for the past 2 days, is to work tirelessly, night and day, to make sure that we safely and timely and efficiently restore power to all our customers and neighbors and neighborhoods. That's our commitment. At ComEd, just like you see the men and women behind me, we have the best trained professionals in this industry. They won't stop until we restore every customer safely. Safety at ComEd is not a priority. It's not a target. It's a value. So we ask all our customers, please stay clear of any down wires, any equipment, any trees that you see that could be hanging off of our wires. Do not assume they're safe to be handled. Call us, call the city, call us at our care centers, on our website, so we can come out immediately to make it safe. With that, thank you, and you have our commitment. I'll ask Mayor Johnson to come back up for a Q&A.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Our Commissioner for Water Management is here. Just give him a couple of minutes to say a few words. Please welcome Commissioner Connor.
Good afternoon. Again, thank you. My name is Randy Connor. I'm the Commissioner for Chicago Department of Water Management. Thank you, Mayor Johnson and Alderman Hall. Again, we're here to just make sure that people know that we're here for support for the departments that are really out in it. Over these past 2 days, we had, as the mayor said, a little bit better than 100 water in basements, as well as about 300 water and street complaints. We just ask that you be patient with us as we attack those, as well as the rest of our work, because we are supporting these other departments and ensuring that trees are picked up, making sure that the right-of-ways are clear for people to get back and forth. Again, thank you to you all who have been patient, and I'm asking you to continue to be patient and please spread the word. Thank you. Mayor Johnson.
Good afternoon. We're going to start over here with Charles.
Yeah, my question is just regarding the general timeline for cleanup and infrastructure repairs, as well as how much cleanup have we seen thus far?
Yeah, well, we're obviously moving with expediency. As Commissioner Stoller indicated, the first point of response are our major thoroughfares to make sure that our emergency vehicles, as well as our city vehicles, can get to the neighborhoods, inside the neighborhoods. But it also allows for families to continue to be able to get to work and to access their appointments. We fully expect over the next week that we'll be in a much better position. As each of our commissioners have articulated, we are thankful for the patience of the people of Chicago, but I'm really grateful for everyday residents who are stepping up to support one another. And we should continue to do that, do it in a safe way. I was not just here in the 6th Ward, but we were just a little further south in the 21st Ward. We're hearing stories of block club presidents that are stepping in and providing support for families. That's who we are in Chicago. We don't leave anyone by the wayside. We are our brothers and sisters keepers. And so as our departments, working with our partners, work with expediency to clear out debris and to get our spaces restored. Again, we're encouraging families to continue to call 311 so that we don't miss anyone.
Hi, Mayor Johnson.
Hi.
This morning we were out in Englewood and near 71st and Green Streets. There is a tree completely blocking the road. My question is, how are these calls being prioritized? The tree fell on Wednesday and they say crews still haven't been by to assess the damage. So just wondering.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Commissioner.
Cole Stoller, Streets and Sand. So you know, the first storm, we got to a good point there where we had about 200 blocked streets. And then with the last night's storm, it took us over 400. So we're at about 450 blocked streets throughout the city. We encourage people to keep calling 311. We're out inspecting those, and we're trying to get all the streets open, as the mayor stated. That's our number one goal this week and weekend. We're going to be out all weekend. These are folks standing behind us that are doing that work. We're putting in long hours. They're going home, getting a little bit of rest, and they're right back at it. And then there's issues, as ComEd mentioned, that we're working together with them also because there are wires tied into those. So it's a matter of coming together, but we have to do everything safely. Everybody wants us to get to them. We're going to get to them, but it is a safety matter, and we're working in conjunction with People's Gas, ComEd, to do things like that. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mayor and team.
Good afternoon.
Do you guys have preliminary numbers as far as property damage, and were there any injuries within the back-to-back storms?
Hi, Executive Director Frank Velez, OMC. So at this moment, luckily we didn't have any injuries that were sustained due to these storms. In the numbers, we're currently working right now to conduct a joint preliminary assessment on that. So I'm working with all the departments and teams to get an accurate number for you. We should have that by Monday. But I just want to remind everyone that it takes time. What we're trying to do is compose a list, not with ourselves, but of the county and the state, which is a joint preliminary assessment. We're going to be sending out surveys starting out this evening through our OMC app, so then the residents can put their information in so we can get better numbers on numbers of damages that we have out there. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for taking the questions, Mayor Johnson.
Of course.
I know that assessment teams are going to go out next week, the city and the state, and also hopefully FEMA. I know when we've talked at storm damage scenes last year, there was some concern about FEMA slow walking or denying aid requests to Chicago. How concerned are you about that this time, and what can people do if that happens?
Well, we're going to do our part, first of all, as a city, working with our residents to make sure that there's a full assessment. We obviously have great partners at the county level as well as state, IEMA. As far as FEMA's responsibility to the people of America, we fully expect them to do their part, right? I mean, there are families who are reeling from the damages by the storms, and as it's evident that we should anticipate these type of torrential rainfalls and other issues that are related to climate change. Again, we're going to work with our partners at every single level of government to make sure that whatever damage that has occurred, that assessment allows for us to figure out our next steps.
I appreciate that. Thank you. A quick question about Mike Rodriguez's committee on Monday dealing with VGTs. Have you been talking to Bally's about getting them to increase staffing at the casino in exchange for banning them?
Well, look, there are some significant concerns that exist with VGTs, particularly around the development of the casino, the revenue of the casino, and then jobs. Right? Bally's has committed to creating thousands of jobs, right? And so this hearing is going to allow for a robust debate to take place so that we can have a course of action that doesn't harm, workers, right? As I work to ensure that we are the most pro-worker city in America, we have to center our commitment to everyday people. And at a time in which we know that affordability is a top concern for people, not just in Chicago, but across the country, policies that undermine the interests of working people is one that we will have to address. So again, there are significant concerns about VGTs and the impact that will have on workers' revenue and the development of the casino. And any policy that undermines our good efforts to protect working people, we obviously have to review that. All right. Is that everyone? All right. Thank you all very much. Nice job, guys.
We've been listening in there to a press conference regarding the storm damage in our area, and more specifically the recovery effort from the last couple of storms, this 1-2 punch as it's been described time and again that we have had this week. And there was a full slate of speakers there, started and ended by hearing from Mayor Johnson, who talked about the interconnectedness of the region, which is why there were so many commissioners there to speak as well. He talked about OEMC and calling 311. So, of course, everyone knows 911 for emergencies. 311 is for non-emergency services. And so when you have a situation like this, in the life-threatening moments, 911 would be your call. For these aftermath type of situations where you might see that there is a tree blocking the road, or you might need some type of other services, 311 is what you want to call. He said they had calls for 10 flooded viaducts, 673 traffic signals down, over 8,000 tree emergencies, and that's just adding on because we had already heard about 6,000 tree emergencies even from the first round of storms on Wednesday. But the motto is to leave no one by the wayside. So he even talked about investments in communities to withstand extreme weather going forward. In terms of the commissioners, we heard from Alderman Hall, who described his ward where they were standing today, the 6th ward, as now becoming like a wind tunnel, but grateful that there were no deaths. In terms of the commissioners, we heard from OAMC Commissioner Frank Velez, and he talked about home repair fraud. That is something that is so important in the aftermath of storms, when everyone is in cleanup mode, that you have your antennas up and not down when it comes to people coming to you saying that they can give you certain services, roof repair or insurance or whatever the case may be, fraudulently. So making sure that you are dealing with reputable businesses and that you know exactly who you are dealing with. That 311.chicago.gov is also another resource for you, other than just calling 311. Going to 311.chicago.gov to see what other resources the city can provide. Commissioner Cole Stollard, who joined us here on Chicago Live yesterday from Streets and Sanitation, talked about this being a unique situation that we're in right now. That the storms this week, typically you would see like, oh, it's hit this ward or this side of the city. No, this is a unique situation in which all 50 wards have been affected. And so that magnifies the amount of recovery that is underway and the manpower that is needed for this type of recovery. So he says they're trying to get, of course, everywhere they can, and that they will get it all done, of course, in time, to be patient with them. They have 450 blocked streets as of now. So, I mean, if you think about what happened on Wednesday and then them trying to pick up and do as much as they could on Thursday, but then getting another round of storms, now we're sitting at about 450 blocked streets. One of the reporters who was there asking a question spoke about a specific area in Inglewood. He says, hey, 450 blocked streets. They're trying to get to them all. We heard from the City Department of Transportation, CDOT, and they talked about temporary signs that are up and how we have to be really cautious of going through intersections where you have a temporary sign, because they're pretty dark, not like what brightly shines, what we're used to. So drive carefully right now. You don't know what you're going to come upon, whether it's a blocked street or the temporary signals, and someone may not see them. So be very cautious when you're driving around. Avoid downed wires. That's really important too, of course. And then we heard from the Commissioner for Family Support Services, Angela Green, who we've spoken to here on the show before as well. And she said, okay, so we've got 911 for emergencies, 311 if you're in need of services, non-emergency services, and then there's 211 specifically for people who are experiencing food insecurity. We've spoken a lot about the fact that if people are without power for days on end, even if you had food and it was expensive to buy it, and it's sitting in your refrigerator or freezer, it could be going bad as we speak. And so if you experience food insecurity, you can call 211 and you'll be able to see what resources are there for you. I'll add one more thing that was said from the Commissioner for Family Support, and that's that they have 6 community centers. So if you are out of heat, or if you are out of AC in the heat, and you maybe, or you even need to charge your phone, those community centers are available for you. ComEd, David Perez, the Executive Vice President and COO of ComEd, says that there have been 2 waves of significant storms that we have not seen in many years, and they had 550 outages from the first one. 460,000 were restored. There are many remaining, obviously, and they hope that from the first wave, those will be taken care of by midnight. From the second wave, 150,000 added, 110,000 restored, and they hope to get those remaining done by Sunday at midnight. But they are working tirelessly, and of course value safety, not just of those who are there working for, but also of the workers as well. Commissioner Randy Connor just mentioned the fact that there's a lot of water in people's basements, water in streets, and there have been many complaints that have come in. So again, everyone, a full wait, and we're hoping that they're able to get through it, but they had a full show of unity in trying to show the team effort that it's going to take to get everyone back online and back to some semblance of normalcy as we go into the weekend. Let's see. Let's take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to try to get in a few different conversations before we turn you over to the 4 o'clock news, starting with a shelter in our area that is in great need of all of our help. Welcome back, everyone. 3:43 right now. We're going to try to fit in a few more conversations before the 4 o'clock news, and I want to bring in entrepreneur and content creator Chris Stocks and Kathy Weisner, Executive Director of Rescue Pack, to tell us about the situation that everyone has ended up in here with these 500,000 shelter pets. Like, how you are going to feed that many shelter pets, I guess with the resources behind you?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, detail the effort.
Sorry, go ahead.
Detail the effort that you all are going to try to do this with.
So what's happening actually tomorrow, it's actually our biggest distribution of the year. So we're a pet food bank, and it's our 10-year anniversary this year, and we serve rescues and shelters all across the Lake Michigan states. So what's happening tomorrow is 70 of those rescue shelters, and actually pet food pantries as well, will be coming on site to pick up pet food from us. And we're distributing about 300,000 pounds, which is the equivalent to 800,000 meals. So we're really excited to get food and supplies into the hands of rescues and pet food pantries that need it, especially in wake of the tornadoes that happened yesterday. And we know that many people were impacted, as well as some of the rescues that we serve were impacted. So it's fantastic that we're able to provide this service to them and get them the resources they need.
I think it's a beautiful thing, and I love the teamwork here. So, Chris, I mean, as a content creator, tell me how you're taking this to the next level.
Yeah, so for this distribution tomorrow, we have actually specifically partnered with ChatGPT and OpenAI, and they're helping us function more efficiently as a team.
Wow.
Because everyone who works with Rescue Pack are volunteers. We're trying to be as efficient as possible. So we use OpenAI, specifically ChatGPT, to actually help us with a lot. For example, we have hundreds of rescues that we work with total. We actually have 70 rescues coming tomorrow. And we have tons and tons of different pet food and supplies. You can see a lot of it behind us. And we have to make allocations specifically for those groups. And one of the ways we use ChatGPT actually for this effort is it helps us distribute and organize all those allocations correctly. I'm a content creator myself, so what we're doing tomorrow is we're actually trying to help get the word out about Rescue Pack, because this is a cause I really care about. And I'm using my platform on social media to help promote it and show everyone what we do.
I think it's wonderful. And, you know, Kathy, obviously tomorrow is a big opportunity for you all, a big mobilization for you all, and I'm hoping that it goes off without a hitch. But you all are working throughout the year. So just talk a little bit before I have to let you all go about your ongoing work and how people can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for more pet food donations or pet food supplies. So if anybody actually happens to know any manufacturers that might be willing to help us, we would love to have more resources coming in the door, because our whole goal is to help as many animals as we can. And so when we're helping rescues and shelters with pet food or supplies, that means more of their money can be focused on adoptions or going into medical care. So at the end of the day, we're trying to end the number of homeless pets, if you will. And then also we help families. So anybody that's struggling to feed themselves are likely struggling to feed their pets as well. So it's two-pronged, right? We're trying to keep the animals out of shelters, but also if they're in homes, we try to keep them in the homes too. But we are a nonprofit. We gladly accept any donations and also volunteers. So if there's people that want to help us, they just have to go to our website, and we would love to have them join us.
Okay, tell us the website.
www.rescuepack.org.
All right. Thank you all for what you're doing and stepping in to bridge the gap and help so many animals out there, but also families in general. Goodness, I love, again, the teamwork that's happening here for such a great cause. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And have a wonderful weekend. All right, everyone. Let's bring in our next guest here from KTTV, our sister station out in LA. We had to put in a phone call to our sister station because the World Cup magic is out in California tonight. Team USA is getting in gear, and boy, I mean, the excitement has already started. We saw Mexico get a win yesterday. Can Team USA pull it off today? We certainly hope so. Nick Garcia is joining us. Thank you so much for making time for us. Tell us where you are.
On the brakes.
Hey there, yes, it's very loud, so forgive the noise, but it is very exciting here. We are in the historic LA Coliseum here. Just a few miles down the way is LA Stadium.
A little bit of
renamed for the FIFA World Cup. For USA, basically off the line. But take a look at this crowd. This is the crowd here that is looking at the game.
Magic from somebody.
Excuse me, the Canada Bosnia game. I've got to say, a lot of Canadians today.
Very well to keep that city.
This stadium will be very later today.
That's what I said.
So for now, it's a very decent crowd. We're expecting a lot more in the next couple hours.
Nick, I know it's going to be crowded and honestly much louder than it is right now. Very soon.
Oh, yeah. Much louder. I mean, Mexico, if yesterday's game was any indication, every theater here was filled for Mexico's opening match. And there was a lot of Mexican fans here in Los Angeles, as you might imagine.
And what does it mean to you all to, have this opportunity? It's been so long since the World Cup has been in the U.S.
Oh, my goodness. We take a lot of pride in it, for sure. I can tell you this, driving around the city. This week, it seems like it really ramped up. Billboards everywhere. Everyone's kind of getting in that spirit. Even if you don't follow soccer, it's just this unifying event for the community to come together. Definitely, you get to represent a different country. Lots of people cheering for the United States, obviously. But it's a good opportunity to get young people involved in sports and just showing them that it's about community.
That unifying aspect is something I've been hearing time and time again, and it's wonderful to see. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Enjoy.
Thanks so much. I'll see you later.
Okay. All right. 3:50. Let's take a quick 2-minute break, everyone, before we get to some All-Stars right here in Chicagoland from Hanover Park. right, welcome back, everyone. Just about 3:52, so you know we don't have much more time here before we get you to the 4 o'clock news. But we had to make sure we put a special spotlight on some amazing athletes in our area who, after launching their very first Special Olympics team for Keeneyville School District 20, they've already qualified for state. We have Coach Alex Toy from Hanover Park joining us now. I should say congratulations. And are you excited about what is to come?
Hi there. Yes. Thank you so much. We are so excited for our athletes and their families as well.
So, I mean, how do you take this from a start to already getting to this level so fast?
I mean, honestly, we practiced really hard, and the athletes who have participated this year really wanted to be a part of it and a part of the team for the first time. You know, they're 8 years old, so this is kind of their first introduction into sports. And I don't know, I think it was a combination of just their willpower and the school and district support.
And when you say the school and district support, I mean, what were the conversations like in saying, like, we need to have a team?
Yeah, the district was really supportive. They right away were like, yes, let's do it. So we found a couple of coaches who have actually done it through other organizations and other teams. So we kind of built it up from the ground up, and they have loved it. We even had a school clap out where before our spring games, the whole school was clapping everyone and wishing them good luck.
I love it. And so preparation for the Special Olympics Illinois Summer Games, what is that looking like now?
Right now, that just looks like staying hydrated and bringing your sunscreen. Like we tell the athletes all the time before a tournament, you know, we're here for a good time. We're here to make memories. And it's all about being inclusive.
What do you see in the student athletes, or what have you seen, you know, in this first season? You know, the changes that students make in having an opportunity like this.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see a whole community come together, especially for our baby team right now. So we only have the 4 athletes and they're all 8 years old. I can't wait for the team to grow. Something that we've seen is that people will come up to one of the coaches and they'll say something like, I want to join next year. How can I join? What is it that I can do to help? And I think it's been a really nice way to bring our small community together. And we're, you know, we always call ourselves a family, and this definitely is that.
Well, it's beautiful. Tell us when everything begins.
Yeah, so tonight is opening ceremonies at 8 p.m. That's where we celebrate all the teams from across the state. We're celebrating 3,400 athletes, and we are celebrating our 4, of course. So we start bright and early tomorrow at 7:45 a.m., and then we should be done around noon, and hopefully we'll get to watch each other's events and support each other.
Well, best of luck. I hope some medals come back to Hanover Park. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Have a blast. All right, everyone, give us 2 minutes. We'll be back to close out the show. All right, everyone. We hope that you'll have a wonderful, safe weekend, and we hope to see you right back here next week, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. online. Listen, be careful this weekend and give some grace to all of the workers who are out there trying to restore power and clean up debris. They're all here to help us, and we hope to see you next week.